I was up late night just watching random YouTube videos, and then I got a notification from Harvey. And the name of the video was called The Replacement. And I'm sitting here saying to myself, this could be a number of things. My first initial thought was them talking about that so-called replacement theory that they came up with a few years ago that led into the whole anti-white sentiment that I'm sure by now many of you have seen me talk about when it came to Tucker Carlson. But when I clicked on it, it was absolutely not the case. They were not related. But it was talking about Mammy Steele. Now, y'all know that I have done several videos in the past over Mammy Steele, and she has been a fixture. She's practically, I'll put it this way. She's in like a lifetime achievement holder in the Blackarian Hall of Shame. So by replacement, they mean that she replaced somebody else at a job that they held down for many years. And the person that she replaced was none other than Candace Owens, or as I like to call her, the Coonstress. And the job she replaced her at was at the Daily Wire. So I'm sitting here saying to myself, and I just laughed when Harvey put up the video and I just saw the headline and Sage Steele's picture there. Because I said, so you replaced one self-hating person who, as far as I know, has two black parents, who doesn't like herself and doesn't care about the black community, with a woman who's biracial with a black father and a white mother who doesn't like the black community or herself. I'm willing to bet that she's the person that they say, oh, Sage Steele is like our black friend. And I keep telling y'all about that person. Be wary of the person who's the quote unquote black friend. Be very weary of them. And this is the first job opportunity I've heard of Sage Steele getting since she got fired from ESPN or demoted or whatever the case may be. And I think she was over on some kind of podcast. And I'll put it this way. Sage Steele goes out of her way, or manages to somehow, some way, get herself surrounded around as many white people as she possibly can, whether it's man or woman. This woman wants absolutely nothing to do with black people, but will be quick to keep black people's names in her mouth just so she can have every opportunity she can to throw us under the bus. Any woman who would throw her own dad under the bus, I still cannot forget that scolding letter that she wrote about her dad, or to her mother, while throwing her dad under the bus. But any woman who's willing to do that will throw anyone under the bus. Now I'm going to read this little short article that's coming from Deadline, and it was posted April 26, 2024. TV anchor Sage Steele has replaced Candace Owens in the voice cast of the Daily Wire's upcoming animated sitcom Mr. Bertram, following the latter's recent exit from the right-wing news platform. So this isn't even a live show, it's an animated series. Damn. The former ESPN anchor joins voice cast of Megyn Kelly, oh god, it just gets even worse. Brett Cooper, oh god, it got even more worse. Adam Carolla, who created the show, Roseanne Barr, Danny Trejo, Rob Riggle, Patrick Warburton, Tyler Fisher, Alonzo Ba, and Kyle Dunnigan, and Jay Moore. Notice that all the people that I named, with the exception of Sage Steele, are non-black individuals. What did I tell you? This woman goes out of her way. Steele will play the role of Dina, who was married to Mr. Bertram's best friend Gage. Oh, look at that. Art imitating life. So even in an animated series, she's still being a mammy. The role was previously due to be played by Owens. Oh my god, the jokes just practically write themselves. Who exited the Daily Wire last month. Her exit followed clashes with co-founder Ben Shapiro over the Israel-Hamas war. Carolla voices Mr. Bertram, a no-nonsense teacher navigating Teddy Roosevelt Junior High with his family. Wendy, played by Kelly. Eddie, played by Dunnigan. And stepdaughter Jeannie, played by Cooper. Partnering with his friend Gage, Mr. Bertram faces off against a young student named Carponzi who was engaged in various social justice campaigns. I can already tell where this is headed. Just reading that small little synopsis, I already see where this is headed, and with the cast that they picked, it's going in that direction. Bertram also has the help of some fantasy mentors, the ghost of his gym teacher Coach Murphy and childhood frozen dinner icon Burly Man. He'll even get an assist from sick and tired wishes she was retired Principal Bortles when competing with Navy buddies against his Army nemesis Gunderson and reformed gang member Switchblade. And how ironic they had Danny Trejo be the gang member. Again, the jokes is practically right themselves. lends a tattooed hand building a house for charity. The show premieres Sunday, May 12th on Daily Wire Plus. I feel like I got a question for those who are listening right now. Which one do you think is going to be the biggest crash and burn? This or that new that good so-called good times crap that was put on Netflix last month? I'm just curious. Which one you think is going to be the biggest crash and burn? I think it might actually be this one. Only because who's watching Daily Wire Plus? Remember, this is the same company that put out that crap Little House on the Prairie or Dead on the Prairie or Roadkill on the Prairie, whatever that thing was that had Gina Carano in it that only made like what $8 or however much or something. That crap that Ben Shapiro put out there and trying to say we're gonna fight the woke establishment or whatever the crap they said. This will be no different. See, they, in my opinion, they just wasting money over there. But hey, it's their money to waste. It ain't mine. When I got the call from Adam and Daily Wire team to be a part of Mr. Bertram, it was a no-brainer for me. See what I mean? She said it was a no-brainer for her. What did I just say at the beginning? This woman goes out of her way to be in the company of white and non-black people. She goes out of her way. Again, look at the company she keeps. Look who she surrounds herself around. And it's funny because the jokes write themselves, because Candace Owens literally did the same thing. So they literally went out and got the Candace Owens before Candace Owens was Candace Owens. She goes on to say, I'm a huge fan of everyone involved and am honored to be included in such a powerhouse lineup of comedians. Since when is Megyn Kelly, Brett Cooper, Danny Trejo, and a few of these others who some I've never even heard of that I know aren't comedians, since when are they comedians? Since when? And nothing, all the people that they've mentioned could not even make me laugh, not even make me smirk. But see, again, Sage Steele has so much self-hate in her, she actually wakes up in the morning and looks in the mirror and probably feels like Margot Robbie is staring right back at her in her reflection. In this insane cultural moment, it's more important than ever to speak the truth, even when it's unpopular. Mr. Bertram does this in such a hilarious fashion, and I'm thrilled to be part of such a fun, unapologetic project. In other words, I'm willing to bet they're going to drop the word woke and DEI a whole bunch of times. While employed by ESPN, Steele made headlines in 2021 for speaking out against the company jab mandates. Steele later sued ESPN and settled the case in 2023 before departing the sports network. In other words, she had no chance of winning that case, but they just paid her enough money to go the hell away, and that's exactly what she did. Last month, Bill Maher announced the launch of her eponymous The Sage Steele Show. So that's what it was. I forgot. I couldn't remember if it was a podcast or whatever the case may be. Nowadays, everybody's been given a show and a podcast, even those who aren't qualified, such as the thing we're talking about right now on your screen. Currently streaming on YouTube as the first program on his new podcast network, Club Random Studios. Again, look at who she likes to be around. A bunch of white people, whether it's men or women. And usually the people she surrounds herself with are anti-black. Go figure. She feels right at home. Daily Wire's Plus first animated comedy is produced by David Coleman for the Daily Wire and Dallas Sonnier for Bonfire Legend, with Daily Wire's Jeremy Boring, Ben Shapiro, and Caleb Robinson executive producing. Chassis Media is the physical production company for the show, and executive producers for Chassis Media are Adam Carolla and Mike August, along with showrunner, executive producer Nate Adams, and supervising producer Curtis Kohler. Mike Lynch is the head writer for the show, with additional episodes written by Byron Kavanaugh and Mike Hoffmeyer. She goes out of her way to be the token negress. I think that's the best way to put it. One of the most cringe things I've ever seen her do was allow that white man to rub his hands through her hair. Like, she leaned over and showed all 32 teeth and allowed this man to put his hands all through her hair on a national segment that they were doing when she used to be over at ESPN a few years ago. I mean, she felt good about that. But anything to keep a job, I suppose. And she had no problem replacing one Mammy and her being the next Mammy in line. And the crazy part about people like Sage Steele and even Candace Owens in this regard is they don't actually believe that they're tap dancing. Many of these grifters don't believe that, but they are. They are. Whether they want to believe it or not, they are. They actually think that they are somehow being revolutionary. But again, a lot of these black grifters think that they are the magical Negro. And they're not. They just simply aren't. You're just there. But see how, also, let this be a message to Candace Owens. Candace Owens, they said they got rid of her a month ago. And look at who they picked up and plucked out of the buck dancing barrel. Sage Steele. Guess what? And notice they ain't gonna get no more than her. So that means if Sage Steele gets out of line and she leaves, they gonna find another one to replace her. So don't think you magical for too long. I wonder, you know what? I wonder how Candace feels about this. Not that I really care, but you know, I'm willing to bet this is just the thing for Ben Shapiro to probably rub in her face, since they had that falling out, quote unquote. It's all laughable to me at the end of the day, just how things just play themselves out. Again, buck dancing, tap dancing does not have a retirement plan. It never has, and it never will.